All right, Pezza. Here's what I'm looking at today. I'm looking at Kevin Peterson wearing 2 watches on television. I'm looking at Ben Stokes being very upset about the deck, but of course at the same time not talking about the deck. But today is Jasprit Bumrah's day. 6 for 45, I want to say. England all out for 253. India 28 for no loss in the third innings. They lead by 171 runs. It feels like that's going to be too much, but of course England found themselves in a worse position in the first test and still managed to win that game, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But Pezza, why is KP wearing 2 watches?
I don't know, mate. KP's going to do what KP does, I guess.
Are you a Vuvalaser fan? a lot of horns going on.
They actually sound like party blowers, like from kids' birthday parties. You know, you get it in like a lolly bag at the end, or maybe at the start. Like there's actual ones that you blow out, and the plastic unfurls. You know, yes. It's like a paper, actually, like a paper unfurls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it was that, I'd be happier than what this current thing is. Yeah, like look. Yeah. I feel like that's going to be one of those hot button issues where you're just a white man who doesn't understand culture if you say the horns sound like dog shit to my ears, and why aren't you allowed a bottle of water but you're allowed to blow some of the most, you know, like piercing sounds through the ears of millions of people. It's like, mate, that's cultural. Yeah. So I won't make comment on it, and I'll just respect whatever the call is from the people of Visakhapatnam.
Let's be right about this, Pezza. First of all, you're racist. Okay, let's make that clear. And second of all, how come none of these blokes put a KFC bucket on their head when they watch the cricket? Like, I don't know what's wrong with these guys.
And you know what? You're very right to point that out, Higgos. Far be it from me to judge the behaviour of crowds overseas when our owns have a fucking cross to bear too. You know, as you say, people literally eat a whole bucket of KFC, got chicken in it, and then just let the oil drip over their head while identifying themselves as potential offenders of note for federal police by actually being at a bucket on Bonds League game with a Guernsey on. So just sort of squaring the ledger on that one. But yeah, I don't know. Got to say, like, really, really good day for India, I thought. And the only thing that holds you back from saying, well, this is the kind of stuff we expected from this tour, is the fact that England did something extraordinary in the last game. And you know, that probably causes you to hold back a little bit. But yeah, it was mate, it was an amazing day for Bumrah. He really showed his class. I still feel like this Indian side has a thinness and an airiness about it without Kohli and probably Jadeja there, which is going to happen to any team. But I probably hadn't appreciated how sparse or directionless or, without feeling it seems to me in the absence of Kohli, which is just as a compliment to him. And yet today, when Bumrah had the ball in his hand, doing that thing where, because he bowls from extra cover, his outswinger straightens. You know, you don't normally see that as a right-hander, like bowling outswing. The ball swings, and the movement of the ball is sort of in the direction of first, second slip. But with Bumrah, because its initial line is out almost a fucking long leg, you know, the way that it's able to straighten from there is unbelievable. And he gets Root with that delivery that he always gets Root with. Root trying to guide down to third, copping the top of the edge there, and Shub McGill took a couple of great catches today. And then, so that's your purist's wicket, but the fucking splayed peg stepmom's legs wicket of Ollie Pope, where you watch that in slow motion and the ball is moving so much it looks like Bumrah's trying to bowl the ball to point. That's where it's coming from. That's how far across his arm he's going. And the way it comes out of his fingers and just arrows in, nobody can splay the stumps like this man. The leg stump is out of the ground and moving in the direction of backward square. like who gets, like, whenever the stump goes cartwheeling or exits the ground from any quick, it's generally in the direction of the keeper. This guy leaves the stumps like 10 pins. You know, like they honestly, it's just a remarkable thing to watch. And then the big beaming smile afterwards. It was an exhibition today from Bumrah, and India needed it. It was an absolute treat to watch, and I always like Bumrah's probably my favourite player in the Indian side for the way he conducts himself, the class of his bowling. He goes past 150 Test wickets. He does it at an average of 20.5. He's the second quickest there after Waqar Yunus. The numbers stack up just immensely for him, and he's a very special player to watch, particularly doing it in conditions that aren't always built for guys like him. The best thing I can say is that I'm quite afraid of what he might do in the next summer to Australia. So, yeah.
TJC is brought to you by Hell Energy Drink, Pezza. It is the highest selling energy drink in a can in India. It's available in more than 60 countries across the globe. And the tagline is, Pezza, gives you power like hell. Go on, Charlie, do your thing. Roll the clip.
Did you think that the power that brought you here had given up on you? But when would you believe in yourself if not at the finish line? Why hit the brakes when there's still fuel in the tank? Because the power that brought you here is still in you. All you need is a little spark to go like hell. Hell Energy.
Thanks very much to Hell Energy Drink. Pezza, 6 for 45 for Bumrah here. We're talking about Bumrah's performance today. Yeah, 150 Test wickets with the Stokes delivery. It sort of shoots low, and then Stokes is very demonstrative in his assessment of the state of the deck. But maybe he was just saying, like, I can't believe I've missed a straight one. Maybe that's what he was saying. Pezza, in the course of 150 Test wickets, this is one of his greatest innings. 6 for 45, no doubt. But sometimes when you watch Bumrah, and he might only take sort of 3 for, but when it's reversing, it makes my dick feel funny. Like I get feelings there that I've not experienced in quite a long time. I start to feel funny down there. Now, this wasn't as explosive I've ever seen, but just the skill set. And I look at Ollie Pope's the Yorker. How good you've got to be to leave a Test match cricketer, a Test match batter, regardless of Ollie Pope's 196 in the last game, just someone that is that good at batting. To leave someone in a state of distress by hunched over, all over, basically like a cat with its back arched up. That sort of thing makes my dick feel funny.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I felt really odd down there.
Yeah, I can't speak specifically to the medical phenomena that you're feeling, because you're obviously familiar with an erection, but you're seeming to be describing something that you can't quite figure out. So I want to sort of park that to one side, and just encourage you to seek medical attention. But it was the thing is with Bumrah, there's a video game quality to it. Firstly, the way he delivers the ball is ridiculous. In how unique it is.
Yeah.
We're constantly told that he's releasing the ball in front of where everybody else does. He has what is described as the hyperextension of his arm, and if you accept that, you're talking about a guy who's basically bowling a wanger. He has that curvature, he has that forgiveness, that torque that just slings the ball, and then when he's reversing it, as you say, the swing and the movement either way is so pronounced. It's like those fucking YouTube clips with the arrows, they go too far. Then he throws in a Yorker. Then he can throw in a bumper. Then he can throw in one that's hitting the top of off. Like it's the full gamut of weaponry, you know. And it's today. It was too much. It was too much for England. And it's a great point. He's bowling to a guy who a week ago played arguably the greatest ever away innings for an English person in the history of the game. And he left him looking like Ponting and Callis, you know, respectively, when, you know, Flintoff and whoever did Ponting, was that Callis? You know, were falling over themselves. So it just speaks to the skill of the guy. You know, people are going to listen to this and go, oh, you don't have to suck him off too much, but you do, because it's 6 for 45. He's taken 150 poles at 20. When is it okay to suck somebody off? If not, then.
I would say the greatest compliment I can give Jasprit Bumrah is that his deliveries is basically like a thumbnail from the F2 freestylers circa 2012.
Yeah.
Just sort of like that red curving arrow kind of gear. I'd like to know what Bumrah's brand is, because like he just strikes me as just a nice, polite Indian man, which helps because he plays for India. But like I was looking at the beard today, and is he growing the beard out a little bit? Like he's never had like a fast haircut.
Yeah.
You know, he's never fucked around with like, you know, a couple of speed stripes in the eyebrows. There's no bling, I don't think, is there? No, there is no bling. He's just a polite man that goes about his business. I know him and Anderson. There's been a couple of times on the field where he shows a bit of aggression, but apart from that, like he doesn't have the same brand as other Indian guys do. But like, I don't know. Maybe I kind of rate that. He's just a guy who just goes about his business. Like, there's nothing really to dislike about him, is there? And that's something that, as an opposition fan, you're always looking for something to dislike about an opposition player. So therefore, you can be proved right that you hate them and that they're bad and evil, and that your guys are the good guys. I don't know what my point is. I guess he's married to Sanjana. Is that a thing? Is it Media Street? Is that what we're talking about? I don't know.
Makes it better, doesn't it? She's lovely. Yeah. It's actually getting to the point where it's like, oh, guys, it's all a bit 10 out of 10, isn't it? You know? I'm starting to get suspicious. It's actually looking too nice, if anything. No, I like what you say about the beard. The beard's getting to that Rohit era where it's like, oh, a bit of grumpy bear stuff. I got out of the wrong side of bed this morning. Don't irritate me, kids. I'm sleeping. But we're obviously reaching here. He's just a guy with 150 test wickets at 20, who doesn't carry on. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. It was too good for England today.
I just want to make. We'll talk about JAISWAL in a second. But like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like, you know, the scorecard and the graphic that Star Sports are putting up, and it's got Rohit and it's got Ben Stokes. Do you know the graphic that I'm talking about? Just like the player heads. Yeah. Have they like deliberately made Ben Stokes way more orange than what he actually is? Because like Ben Stokes has like a tinge of like, he's almost kind of like strawberry blonde, isn't he? Like, but he's not like fiery red. But that graphic, have they fucking touched him up? Like he looks like,
hope so,
deep Scottish. Like there was
good.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're normally. I mean, I know like different countries around the world like do like to chuck a filter onto their graphics. You know, like there is just a couple of little conventions there across countries. But I'm red-green colorblind, so just the wrong person to ask. Couldn't tell you. Like I know what you mean. Like you can say Ben Stokes is a redhead. You can say it. But yeah, if they've kind of touched it up, then once again, you know, what are we saying? Maybe that explained his response. Anyway, I want to come to that with ASKTGC, by the way. So okay. should we move on? Should we move on to JAISWAL?
Yeah, what an innings! 200s now in 6 tests, double 100.
I don't know. I just keep going back to his figure. He looks bigger every time I see him. He's really growing. Taller? He's really growing into a rig. Yeah, but the frame, like it's the frame is looking very manly lately. That's all I'm saying. And I've got nothing
He's
else.
Really growing into a man.
No, but you know these guys that are like, you know, these guys that are such special cricketers that they're basically elevated to the national side where it's there that they learn how to play. It's so good.
Are you saying that he's transitioning into a man? Is that what you're saying? That Jaiswal is transitioning into the man that we all want him to be?
I'm not using that word in the current context, and I know what you're trying to do to me. Yeah, I'm just, I don't really know what I'm saying other than like, hey, 200, he goes 4.6 or some shit to bring it up. And somehow I still feel like, he's going to do that a lot. It didn't feel like for a double 100, it didn't seem to be that dramatic an innings. It's like, as you watched it, it was like, this guy's just good and he just keeps putting the ball away. He's just smashing them when they bowl full and the defense looks pretty good. And like, so it didn't seem to have like there's so many other double hundreds that have this kind of feel of like famousness and prestige about it. And on paper, this should, given, despite everybody saying it was a flat deck, nobody else could make runs on it. He's made 200 plus, and I think it's a compliment to him that you're just looking at it going like, I feel like he's going to do that like 10 more times at least in his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. It looks like he's just going to score a ton of runs. Hell yeah. Welcome to the analysis channel.
With India, like I feel like there's like an occasion of false dawns, it feels like they just have like a young guy's come in and he's got all this promise. He'll do something at the beginning of his career, they might just fade away a little bit. I don't sense that with this guy. And I think like part of his story and the drive and determination that it's taken and the sacrifices from himself, obviously, and those around him to, afford him, inverted commas, the opportunity to play for India under 19s, to play for India, to play for Rajasthan, that drive and determination. You hear that like stories about like Mo Salah when he was in Egypt when he was a kid, used to get 8 hours, like an 8-hour bus to go to training. Just move, Mo. But has like this steely resolve within them because of like the sheer determination. I get the feeling like that is ingrained in Jaiswal without knowing really anything else about him. That like. It's set up for 10,000 test runs. Like if test cricket goes on long enough for someone to achieve that milestone, but I don't feel like he's gonna fade away into obscurity and like be a trivia question in a couple of years' time.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see the guy around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he'll be tested overseas and all that kind of thing. But yeah, he looks the business. He looks like, okay, they've found someone. They found a 10-year guy. So, all good. He goes, do you think India can actually capitalise this time? As you mentioned earlier, they were in a numerically superior position in Hyderabad than they are here. But as you watch it, they objectively have an excellent position in the game.
I don't see England having like the necessarily like the firepower on a deck that's not assisting the spinners as much as the first test in Hyderabad. So I don't see them like blowing India away here for like 140, then having to chase like sort of 300 or whatever. You can just never write England out. Like, not only do they have a remarkable test win in the first test, of course, with how they did that, but like basically since McCullum and Stokes have been at the helm, they've chased down ridiculous scores. And they chased like 380 against India in the fifth test of that series, whenever that was. They chased 300 plus against New Zealand. Like I know those are different conditions and stuff, but basically like England keep doing remarkable things. So like they're never out. I don't know when they're completely out of it. Like if they have to chase 500, like I respect the history of the game too much to be like, well, England are in it because 500 is ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I can sort of see it. Like Zach Crawley come out and score, 180, and then Stokes is in the end there with Hartley, and I can see some weird shit happening again. India under pressure. Like I can just about convince myself that something weird could happen, but the history of the game suggests that's fucking dumb, and I'm an idiot. So
well, I mean,
I just like to dream, Pezza.
If the conditions are such that Bumrah is able to move the ball the way that he has in this innings, then they can't make 500. It feels, I don't know, it feels like this particular deck with the bounce and the movement he was able to extract didn't permit a lot of the baseball that we knew. I mean, certainly haven't seen a lot of the, or at least hasn't had a chance. Like Ben Duckett hasn't had a chance to unfurl the 10 sweep shots he's been talking about just yet. So yeah, but I agree with you. Yeah, the way England plays means that they're always in it. They can, and they'll definitely disrespect history, which is probably why they'll make it so many times, and they already have. Even so, I still think pretty happy to be India, and I think you're exactly right. Like without that that assistance for the same amount of assistance for the spinners, it actually allows the quality of India's spinners or support bowlers to shine through. You know, Axar was able to bowl at the stumps. Kuldeep was threatening, and a lot of guys couldn't read him. Ashwin can wheel away and cause problems. Got to say, like Mukesh for me, you know, I feel like when I watch India bowl, you're sort of shopping at Gucci, then Mukesh comes on and I'm sort of picking up a couple of pieces from Lowe's, you know. G'day, Australia. Unnecessary drive-by, but there's a few times it is probably hard when you're bowling the other end to Bumrah or, you know, like Ashwin, you know, and like you're on just to give the guys a break or whatever, and you're just trying to get a bowling partnership going, and you know that every other bat is going to try and target you because you bowl low 130s, and he was struggling to hit his spot. But it didn't bother them too much because Bumrah took 6 for 45. So, you know, let's move to hashtag AskTGC. Here goes. This is from this is referencing Stokes, but it's from Aman Parekh 1747. Just to be clear. Who only about an hour or so ago asked TGC, have England morally won the test after Bumrah celebrated the shooter that got Stokes? Now, I wanted to pick up on this. I wasn't particularly interested in Bumrah's reaction. I thought it was fine. Like my interpretation of the delivery was that like it was a good ball that kept a bit low. I don't think it was a shooter. And I've seen shooters. Like shooters are like fucking curtly at the whacker, you know, like there's some shooters, and then this is a ball that keeps low. All I want to say is that like if an Aussie ever responded that way to a dismissal, there'd be fucking uproar. That's all I want to say. And perhaps there's some context to that. We've got a couple of bats that can definitely be petulant. If they ever did that, particularly given that, like, in the last test, people remember that Ben Stokes' reaction to Bumrah doing him and bowling him was fairly similar, except that the commentators said, he's just showing his appreciation for Bumrah's skill, one of the great pieces of propaganda. Like to me, that is like that is a male equivalent of a toy out of the pram. Toy being his bat. Like it's petulance writ large can say so many other great things about Ben Stokes as a player. You know, he absolutely destroys us. He's world class. He's probably the person at 6 you would pick all around the world, and the way he's captaining is incredible. You know, walk and chew gum. It looks ordinary. It's garbage stuff to like throw your bat, to toss your bat in the air and stare at the deck because a ball's kept low and you haven't got there. You haven't got to it. You know, that's day two. The pitch isn't doing too many other tricks. I reckon that's poor. It looks shit house. And you can also think that you can also think that he's a really good player. You know, like and I just reckon if that happened here in Australia, not only like would the English press fucking go at them, but ours would too. You know, but for some reason it's just like nobody says anything.
Well, I often had a similar reaction, like, you know, if I was waiting to go onto the field before the day's play and the batters walked onto the field before the fielding team, that would also be my reaction to that sort of stuff. Just what the fuck is this, boys? Because I sort of police those sort of little micro transactions throughout the game. Yeah. I bat 8 and don't bowl, but I just need to let people know that I'm actually here. It's funny, like when you're batting, Pez, like you would remember this, particularly from your Test match career. They're like, when you get a ball that stays low, it hits halfway up the stumps, like it feels lower than what it actually is. So like he probably felt like it was like went through ankle height, whereas of course it's just snuck under his bat. So like it felt more like good ball, unlucky bounce ish than like, this is fucked. Like, I cannot fucking believe what has happened to me. Like, but it's odd though, because like, you know, praising his leadership, like that's not really something he exhibits, like that sort of negative energy, really. Like it was real, like it sort of signals to the team like this is fucked and it's unfair. Like we're playing against an unfair opposition. You know, like it feels like it signals that, which is not really. It goes against the mantra of what the McCullum Stokes axis has been. So Axis Patel, of course. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking pack him. Get the fuck off the field. That's what I'd be saying. Fuck off.
Mate, and like even if it was a shooter or whatever, like I even think the actual act of like releasing your bat is pretty grim, you know?
Yeah.
That's like fairly village. It's actually a child in the backyard, really. And the way you like analyze that and what that kind of means and the signal it sends and all that is right. But you know, I mean, I'd love to. I hope that he's being asked about it in the press conference. I'd love to hear the defense of that. You know, he probably like the guy was looking good. He was 47 off 52. It's a key point in the Test match. You know, and he probably thinks I'm completely on here as he was, and so it was going to take something sort of extraordinary or an extraordinary piece of luck for India to knock him over. So that's obviously how he's interpreted. I think all those things can be true. He can think he's just received, like he's just been the victim of like some explosive pitch, malfunction or whatever. I still think none of that justifies tossing your bat in the air like that. I just don't, you know.
Well, get in your hashtag AskTGC into the comments below. We'll read it out tomorrow and then dissect it. And we'll really analyse the ins and outs of this game as we have done today. I hope Bumrah made your dick feel things as well, or just a general region that makes you think you might require like a balm or a lotion. Yeah, it just makes you feel a bit funny. Like, oh, that's a new sensation. A great song by In Excess, of course. See you guys on the internet tomorrow. Cheers.